the International Institute of Iridology, leading the way in professional iridology education. True healing begins on the spiritual level first, then into the mental and emotional levels, and finally into the physical body. This is the true nature of the healing process. It's not a theory. The ultimate. You're becoming a diplomate of holistic iridology. You earn that. You don't buy it. You'll earn it. You'll pass tests, and you will become proficient. If you stay with me through the whole process, you're going to be one of the finest iridologists anywhere, in any country. The iris, sclera, and pupil of the eye show the veil the soul has created through consciousness or forgetfulness that reflects the illusions which prepares the soul for attaining the reality of full enlightenment. Genetics, the energies, the frequencies are passed down. They're handed down, as a metaphor. They're handed down from one generation to the next. As I said earlier, the good, the bad, the wonderful, and the ugly. Gets handed down. I love this. That's you. This is you, a being of light. And you have your parents, then you have your grandparents. There's 4 grandparents, right? Great-grandparents, there's 8. Great-great-grandparents, there's 16 that have contributed to who you are. Great-great-great-grandparents, 32. 5 generations back, only 5 generations back from you being here, 62 people have contributed to who you are. Is that an amazing statistic or fact? It is to me. Who stops and thinks about that? Really. But 62 people have contributed to who you are, back to your great-great-great-grandparents. All those thoughts, all those emotions, all the victories, all the defeats, the traumas, the joys that are powerful emotions that get imprinted in the DNA and get passed on to you. Now, the picture on the left is a picture of a vessel of water with a sound frequency underneath vibrating a note like oh, and the sound is going through the water. And the sound is making a pattern in the water. The light is there to show the pattern better. Now, if the frequency, the hertz frequency of the sound changes, the pattern changes. That's what's happening here. Okay? On the right is a picture of a lymphatic iris that is polyglandular with a mild central heterochromia. Well, you already knew that, so I figured. Sorry for restating the obvious. You'll learn. You'll get it. But look at the similarities in a way. The point here is that on the left is only one note. You are a symphony. Your consciousness, your body, your emotions, your thoughts is a collective symphony of notes and frequencies from at least those 62 people going back 5 generations. Are you getting the concept? But you're more than one note. You're a symphony of notes. Because if we heal certain issues, it doesn't mean the iris is going to completely change. Some things change and some things don't. I will teach you along the way what those are, to the best of my knowledge. Because genetics is not a sentence. Good health is your choice. Rainbow, halo, goddess of the rainbow. Oh, here we go. The circular, pigmented, contractile membrane surrounding the pupil of the eye. The human iris. Remember I said about a little centimeter, 11 millimeters, 12 millimeters, the diameter of a human iris? Look at the size of that. How many thousands of little 11 millimeter circles could we put in that? It's huge. It's really nice to have the technology to be able to show this. This is basically a blue eye. That brown pigment right there in here tells me something about, and the other browns, tell me something about the person's liver. The rusty pigments here that are kind of orange and rusty here and here tell me something about the pancreas. That little white dot there and a little white dot here tell me about their lymphatic system. The whitish color here along what we call the collarette, you're going to learn that, tells me about the kidney. And the reddish color that goes around the pupil tells me about their stomach. Those colors alone tell me all of those things. Liver, pancreas, lymph, kidney, stomach. And we haven't even begun to look at the reflexes of where those things are. Just those colors are giving me information about this person's vibrational thoughts and frequencies. The emotions related to liver, the emotions related to pancreas, the emotions related to kidney, the emotions related to the stomach and receiving or not receiving. It's all there. And we haven't even looked at the genetic structure. This is the chart of holistic iridology. This is something that is a evolution of my study of iridology over the decades, learning from other people's charts, getting good information from some charts and not such good information or not enough information from other charts. And I decided back in '99 to make my own chart. I felt it was time, with what I had known and learned clinically, to make my own eye chart. And I think that I have created something which is the best of my predecessors, my mentors, my teachers, or the work of people that I've studied, and my own contributions to the chart. And part of it is the brain area. Because this is not anatomical. If you look up, this is all anatomical, isn't it? All structures of the body, and we're looking at lung, pleura, breast, ribs, diaphragm, hand, arm, liver, bile duct. Up here in the brain area, we have survival, sexual expression, experiential, perception, psychological in nature, sensory movement, so on. It's not anatomical. But that's not holistic iridology. This is huge when you learn this in terms of what you can see in a person and a lot of what we've inherited from those 62 ancestors going back 5 generations of things in our eyes that are conscious and subconscious. Subconscious. People behave and operate, and respond to things unconsciously because it's in our genes. It's in there. It's been programmed in from birth. And the eyes are going to give us that, especially in the brain area. Now, when we look at this, and I'm going to go into both eyes on a larger scale in just a minute. But right here, when we do the eye chart, and the way it's laid out is the same way you look at a person. The right eye is on your left side, the left eye is on your right side. Just like you're looking at a client, another person. Remember that in holistic iridology, that the left side of the body and the left eye is feminine, and the right eye, right side of the body, is masculine. Everybody has those two. Doesn't make a difference if your gender is male or female, the kind of body you're living in. It's energetic. It's the polarity. The masculine side is the plus charge. The feminine is the minus charge. It's the receiving side. I'll go into more of that when I show you how to read eyes live. The iridologists would look in somebody's eyes and they'd see lacunas, let's say, in the lung. And they'd go, okay, well, this person had respiratory and they have pneumonia, they have something, and they look in the lungs and they go, hey, there's weak spots or there's holes in this area over here. And I saw it, they would say, I saw it over and over and over and over again. And they go, hey, maybe that's a lung reflex. And that's how they charted the eye, was based on their patient client's symptoms and conditions of dis-ease and disease. And looking at the eye and making a map, looking at the eye and making a map, looking at the eye and adding to the map. And when they saw enough of those conditions, they started to make the chart. Even in the 1880, 1885, 1893. Then, give or take, in the 1930s, give or take some years, microscopes were developed enough to look at human embryos because a pig embryo is very similar to a human embryo. It's how it develops. You've heard that people can actually get porcine heart valves, pig heart valves replaced, and it's compatible in a human body. You know, we're only a fraction of a DNA different from a lot of creatures, the bodies we live in. Just a fraction of what makes somebody a human or a pig. Now, you might know some humans you think are pigs, but that's different. That's judgment. We're talking about genetics. And so what happened was, that's what I just told you about the budding and the food tube and the blastocele and how it forms and invaginates and forms the ball in the food tube. That's what the embryologists found out about the human body. Now take a look at the eye chart of what I've been telling you. Take a look at how at the core of the iris is the food tube. And off the food tube budded a heart, blood and lymph and nerves, the autonomic nerve wreath. And then budding out of the food tube, further, the endocrine glands and all of the other structures of the body coming out of, growing out of the food tube. And 50 years, give or take, 50 years later, science was actually human embryological development science was verifying the eye chart. Is that awesome? See, but none of this works. It's really okay, because iridology really doesn't work. I'm only joking. I'm just saying, I'm being facetious, because how could anybody with any reasonable amount of intellect say that this doesn't work? That's crazy. And it's irresponsible. Now, let's take a look here. We have the channels of elimination. This is in your manual. All the blue parts are respiratory. There's 9 sections. Lung, pleura, diaphragm, bronchioles, bronchus, trachea, nose, medulla, and sinuses. All the blue. So when you learn the respiratory system, look at how much you already know. The skin is green. The kidney, bladder, and urethra are in orange. Let me know when you find the pages. You got them?
Yeah, it starts on 22.
Okay, we're on page 22. You know, as this goes on successively for the recording, the numbers are going to change. You got them this way, but as we add and subtract and move things around, someone watching this on DVDs, 2 years from now, it might not be page 22 anymore, so just be aware of that. You'll find it in the manual. Why is this striped? Kyle, what do you think? Why is this in the kidney have a stripe in it? It's the leg. Remember? There's the leg superimposed over the kidney. The leg, the hip, the knee, the foot. That's why it's striped. Bladder, urethra, there's the exit out of the body. Colon, cecum, ascending, transverse, descending, sigmoid, rectum, anus. Channels of elimination. They also detoxify. They excrete. They're excretory systems. But there's 2 more that are part of that system of 6. What are they? What's not pictured here? 2 more systems that detoxify that do not have a direct exit out of the body. Lymph. The lymph, and what else? The liver. The skin is right here. It has a direct exit out of the body, right? I mean, it is the edge of your body. So now, let's add the liver and the lymph. Tonsils is here in purple. That's the tonsil. That's immune system tissue. Peyer's patches in the small intestine. Immune system tissue, structure. thymus, immune system tissue, appendix, immune system tissue, and the spleen. And then the yellow is all the ducts, nodes, and fluid of the lymphatic system. And all of that comprises your immune system. But there's a lot of immune system in the GI tract too. We know that now. 30, 40 years ago, the colon was thought of as just a repository waiting to evacuate digested food and waste, just eliminate it. And it had no relevance. So we might as well cut it out. You don't need that. We'll just take it out. I'll tell you a story about that when we go to the colon section. And then the liver and gallbladder. They do not have direct exits out of the body. These do. So they detoxify, but they eliminate. And these detoxify, but they need the other systems to help them. Now they'll put them together. Now, when you learn the 6 channels of elimination and detoxification, look at how much of the iris you already know. Skin, lymph, liver, immune system, colon, lungs, kidneys. Look at how much is colored in already. It makes it easy. Thought and emotions. This is very, very important for holistic iridology. You need to learn this backwards and forwards. The charts are on the back table in the classroom store, and it's designed for you and the people you work with so that you're looking at, when you come across fear, it affects you, as an example, fear, adrenal, thymus, you come across, and you look at worded expressions. What if it doesn't work? I've got to have it. What's going to happen to me? I worry about everything. Now, someone, you can look in their eyes and you say, well, I see here that the adrenals look a little bit weak. Do you think somebody, now we might know, but you wake up in the morning and you go, let's go to the pancreas. Grief and sadness. No one understands. There's nothing I can do. I feel very sad. It's always been missing. Do people wake up in the morning and they go, God, I think my pancreas is a little sluggish this morning. Maybe I should take some supplements and work on my grief and sadness issues because it's feeling a little bit off. People, that doesn't happen. I switched from adrenals because sometimes when you wake up, if your adrenals are tired, if you know what adrenal fatigue is like, So I went to the pancreas. So you don't, but if you relate the statements to somebody and you say, do you ever feel like this? Yeah, I do. Well, that relates to the pancreas. And that's affecting your blood sugar, your insulin levels, insulin resistance, and maybe blood sugar challenges, grief and sadness. So when you bring it home to them as a thought and emotion, it's very powerful. Oh, they're not going to wake up and say, geez, I think that my liver is a little funky today. They're not. But ask them, do you ever have, is this kind of like some underlying stuff in you? I won't, you can't make me, I'll get even, I hate that. You just wait, I'll show you. You're not going to get away with that. People can relate to that. Are they going to relate to liver condition? If they have cirrhosis and their abdomen is out to here, they know. That's pretty far down the road. So this chart shows you the steps and the scale of emotion. Now, at the top, consciousness and enthusiasm, and I'm going to add the heart, skin, hypothalamus, pineal, and the heart. Consciousness and enthusiasm. See the heart on the chest? Forgiveness. I forgive you. See the forgiveness, and the arm is around this person's shoulder, and this person has a big heart on their chest. Relative to kidneys and bladder. Letting go. The colon, releasing the past. Let it go. See, look at them, releasing the butterfly. The beautiful little mariposa. Letting it go. Releasing the butterfly. Let go. Pain drives us into action. Any kind of pain drives you into action because our human nature is to avoid it. But when it gets too painful, some people come all the way down scale and they go unconscious with the pain. You see what that is? That's a little bottle of beer. And this person that's a potato. And they're on a couch. So they're a couch potato. On beer. Passed out because life is too painful. So what do people do? They ingest things to cover and mask the pain. They'll smoke something, drink something, eat something to mask the pain. We've all done it. Anybody here not ever masked your emotional pain before? Sure we have. We're all in this together. But this scale of emotions is very powerful. And when you learn this and you plug it into the glands and organs that you're learning where they're located in the eye chart, and then you begin to see a lacuna in the pancreas, a radial furrow in the kidney, congestion of the lymph, you start to see their story. Because the story is in your eyes. Constitutional strength, or genetic heredity, is your ability to withstand stress and to meet the demands of your environment on all levels. Example, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical levels. A stronger constitution. In the iris, fewer lacunas and more trabeculas. Now the fibers, or the trabecular structure of the iris, is a genetic blueprint. It comes from birth. It comes from gestation. It's embryological. And does not visibly change throughout life. However, conditions and accumulations will show changes on and around the iris over time. Does the iris change visibly? Maybe when we have some kind of nano measurement device, we'll see that relative to trabecular structure and lacunas and the depth of lacunas and so on. But accumulations and changes, yes. A strong constitution, the trabeculas are dense and close together. I love this picture. You're the first class to ever see this. I just made this for you. Yep. A good constitution, it's wavy. There are some separations, but there's no lacunas. That's a good, solid constitution. Now, a fair constitution, which is really where most people are, there are going to be some lacunas. Little openings, separation, open lacunas, closed lacunas. A poor constitution, there is increased lacunas and more dark spaces. and a real weak constitution. There's all kinds of structures in here. Now, you might think this one looks similar to this one, but when you learn more, this is called a roof tile lacuna, which is more prone to pathology in the area that it is. These are called crypt lacunas, these little dark ones, degenerative crypt lacunas. They're not here. Do you see the difference in how dark some of those lacunas are? They're very small and deep. That's a weak constitution. And it's perfect, because that's what that person came into this life to deal with. It's perfect. There's no judgment. Scientific evidence shows that thoughts and emotions affect and alter our DNA, and our DNA affects our emotions, attitudes, and behaviors. So you are capable of reprogramming the DNA that you were born with, that genetic code, and you can transmute ancestral issues that are not healthy or not for your highest good. That's science. Genetics, epigenetics, it's all there. It's science. It's not just a theory. You know why? Because good health is your choice. You got to work at it. You know, whatever you are blessed with, strong, medium, weak, whatever it is, you can be happy, healthy, strong, vibrant. And understanding what you were born with is paramount to that. What's happening in your makeup, vibrational frequency-wise, that is subconscious? Your eyes will tell you. Get your head above the clouds. Where do you want to be 6 months from now with your health, your career? Where do you want to be a year from now? Have a plan. Get your head above the clouds and have a clear vision. Where do you want to be a year from now? You are like a butterfly. This is a chrysalis. Remember, that was the life cycle? They're caterpillars. And they spin a cocoon. Their body liquefies and reassembles itself as a butterfly. It's amazing. The chrysalis opens and the butterfly emerges. It's truly metamorphosis from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And this butterfly I'm going to show you literally came from that chrysalis. Isn't that beautiful? And that is called a buckeye. That's a buckeye caterpillar. I mean, a buckeye butterfly. When your perceptions are unobstructed and clear, you will experience yourself and your life as it truly is, filled with infinite possibilities. I hope you really got that throughout our 3 days together. You are filled with infinite possibilities when your vision is unobstructed and clear, free of illusions. The iris, sclera, and pupil of the eye show the veil the soul has created through consciousness or forgetfulness that reflects the illusions, which prepares the soul for attaining the reality of full enlightenment. You've been learning the new Iridology for the 21st century, holistic Iridology. That's my goal, is to teach you and to teach those. Being out in the public, in the trenches, I need to duplicate, to triplicate, to quadruplicate, to quintuple myself with all of you to go and do these things. And my graduates are doing that in helping people. And I keep wanting to push the envelope and get this going. Keep moving it up. Holistic iridology. You're going to earn your diploma, and you'll earn it. And I'll be really proud because I signed personally every one of those.